Live. We're going live.
I think we're live already, aren't we?
Yeah, we just started. So I'm not gonna waste a moment, and I'm starting right now the Facebook. So Facebook is a little bit different. Going live. I can hear
We're
myself.
live already, aren't we? Oh, I can hear myself.
So double echo. Right. Okay.
Guess who's in?
Yeah.
What's up? What's up, man?
Hi there, Richard.
Hello
How are
there.
you? What's
Good,
going
good.
on?
How are you?
The man, the legend, Mr. Richard Dolan in the house.
Look
What
at you
my
guys.
friend.
Happy Sunday to you guys. Happy Sunday, man. How's life? How's things? Everyone's good?
Of course, there's not an option. It's a must. We have to be good. We have to be excellent. We have to fill it the 10x until the bones.
100%.
So
100%.
there's no option, man.
No way.
How was your Sunday? Taking away from the family and people coming over?
100%. You're more than welcome, man. You're more than welcome.
Excellent. We should get more people in soon. So we should start in a couple of minutes. I think Peter is going to do the introduction and introduce you to officially.
Yeah, usually in our call, everybody's getting a little bit, like in defer as a time, but more people are coming in. They've been announced, so they announced themselves that they're gonna come. So we're gonna. Would you like me to put it as a close? You want to share something, or how would you like? Because you're gonna hear that ring, like as people coming in and coming out. So if you don't want that, we can eliminate it. We just want to make sure that you're fine.
I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good either way, man. What's up, Vince?
How are you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Great. So as more people are popping in, so 8 o'clock, we are ready. As long as you're ready, and then when people, the more they come in, we're gonna let them in as they come.
Excellent. Well, we're ready when you are, I would say.
Yes, indeed. Great. Perfect. Okay. So welcome everyone to Grow Mastermind Group. We are a group of entrepreneurs whose mission and vision it is to encourage other entrepreneurs to discover, fulfill, and unleash their potential. We meet every single Sunday from 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and today we have an amazing, unbelievable guest, Richard Dolan, who is a legend person that been around the business for a long time, and he been around strong influencer people like Oprah, Deepak Chopra, Mike Tyson, and for a better, I will say, accurate information, I will actually let him to take over from here. So he's going to be able to unleash the entire information that maybe we're not even ourselves we know. Mr. Richard, we would like you to tell more about you just before we're going to start, for those one that they don't know about you, and where you started and how everything took place and how you managed to get to the level that you are right now and the journey you took there.
Hey, listen, Peter, I'm glad to be here. I'm grateful for the invitation. It's good to have you and good to have Christian and everybody else with us, like my brothers Mike and Vincent and Isabella. All my family's here. It's good to see Raluca and Felipe Luis Gonzalez Guerra. It's like that's the name of a bullfighter. Eugenia and Allison, Marilena and Otto and Wendy and Soha. And it's good to meet all of you guys and those who are watching us YouTube live. Hey, look, there's no level I'm at. We're all human beings. We're all passing through this thing called life. I mean, we're all on the same planet. We breathe in the same air. We all put in the same amount of time into things that we love and want. You know, what really makes the difference between a person at one level and you at another is just one thing and one thing only: discipline. It's just discipline. Putting your time, effort, and energy into one thing over something is the only thing. But for me, I've lived an entire life really being a hustler. I grew up in the financial services business. I started off as a cold call cowboy. That's right, making 300 cold calls a day every day was my job. 300 cold calls. Hi, my name is Richard Dolan, and I want to be able to help you buy some stock shares, puts, calls, warrants, bonds, or mutual funds in the market. Are you in or out? Out, no problem. And I knew every time I heard someone say no to me, I needed 8 more to get to my 10th call, which always would be a yes. So it was only and always a game of numbers, yeah? A game of numbers. That's all it was. It's like, hey, what's up? I'm Richard Dolan, and that's all it was. So for me, I grew up through the school of hard knocks. I mean, I did the work by being the work, and I got the nugget because I kept dugging it. And I mean, for me, going through all that time, the first sort of transition for me was recognizing that I wasn't going to be as good as those who were really great at it. So I needed to learn. Right, Peter? Right, Christian? I needed to learn. So I started realizing I needed to learn. It's kind of like this. There's an old story about watching polar bears and how they hunt. And if you ever observe one from afar, and safely, by the way, but I'm Canadian, so we see them all the time, especially in Edmonton and Calgary. Is that right, Vince? And I mean, and what you'll see is that a polar bear pounds through the ice, creates a hole. And what they do is they sit there and they wait for a seal under the surface to pop up and get some air. Now, what they do though, everyone follow me, everyone imitate me. They cover their nose. Come on, everybody. Come on, Victor. Yeah, they cover their nose. Come on, Luca. They would cover their nose. And you have to ask yourself, why are they covering their nose? Because the only thing the seal would ever see when it would look through that hole was the only thing that would give away a polar bear would be its black nose, because everything else is white, right? The snow is white, the sky is blue. The only thing that would give away the polar bear is the nose is black. Y'all get that? Just give me a thumbs up. Everyone with me? All right, fine. But here's the question. How does the polar bear know how to do that? Did my brother Grant Cardone teach them that? No. Did they go to a workshop? No. Did they get it on the internet? No. Polar bears learned how to survive and master the art of hunting by watching and emulating the fat polar bears. They don't emulate the skinny and dying and hungry ones. So, I mean, that's why we're here. That's why Peter and Christian are doing this call. That's why they do this every single week. And that's why mentorship matters. So for me, I recognized that young. I thought to myself, I was starving, I was skinny, and I wanted to eat, and I wanted to feast. So I would look at guys who says, here's what you got to do. And I would step back and ask myself, are you the kind of person I want to be? You look broke, you're super skinny, you don't know how to hunt seals. But I would see a guy over here in a 3-piece suit with a chauffeur waiting for him every single day downstairs, opening the door to a Rolls Royce. Now that guy, I want to learn what he did. And so what I learned is that there's one thing to learn what you need to do, but then there's something about applying what you've learned to do. And so emulation became my sensation, being able to learn from the very best. And so that began a journey. And every time I met someone that I wanted to be a little bit like, and I wanted to be a little bit like, and I wanted to be a little bit like, I worked with them. I sought them. I looked for mentorship or an opportunity to learn from them. So I would work for certain people or work for free for certain people. And heck, that's how I got to meet Tony Robbins. So all those years go by and I end up going to a workshop and I see this guy going, so everyone just say I. And I'm like, damn, I. Dude, you're huge. Your teeth are as big as my fist. And I love your energy. I got to be like you. And so I hit it off with him. And I began to come under his mentorship. And I worked with him for 7 long, great years and got to learn the magic and power, the meaning and science behind just emulating the greats. And so I kept fortifying, I kept galvanizing, I kept fortifying, I kept galvanizing. I want you all to write that down. When you love what you do, you shake and bake it. When you love what you do, you keep fortifying it, keep fortifying it. So I never stopped then. So through my entire 20s, I just kept finding the very biggest, fattest polar bears in the industries that I loved. And I kept working with them. I kept working with them. And so next thing you know, I blink and I've worked with some of the most incredible people on the planet, like President Clinton and Oprah. And I've had the chance of working with alongside Tony Robbins and yes, Deepak, Robin Sharma, my dear friend and old neighbor. And yes, of course, recently I had the chance of working with Grant Cardone for 18 great months where I wanted to emulate and see what he was doing right and what he was doing wrong. So here's the point. I want you all to write it down. It's never too late and you can never start too soon to emulate greatness. Never. I don't care if you're 20, if you're 40, if you're 60, if you're broke, if you're rich, it's never too late. You want to know why, friends? Because every day is a great day to recreate yourself. Every day. Every single day. What's up, Noel? Every day. What's up, Wendy? Every day. Every day is a great day to keep recreating yourself. Recreate yourself. Recreate yourself. Recreate yourself. Recreate yourself. Because if you ain't recreating yourself, you're dying yourself. And so for me, that's how my journey started. So I wrote 14 great books. I studied the laws of performance. I won 3 championship rings in the NBA, 2 with the Miami Heat, 1 with the Lakers, and all 3 because I worked for a guy by the name of LeBron James. I've gotten myself on titles and deeds at the F1, NFL. One of my players is currently in the Super Bowl, which is why it's important for me to watch that game shortly. But I'm not going to tell them that I wasn't watching all of it live. So that's that secret between all of us, right? That's a secret. So, but I mean, all kidding aside, man, I'm here to serve. I'm here to elevate and get it up. So Peter, I hope I captured a bit of the essence of just kind of like where I came from, what I did. Author, speaker, trainer, and today I'm just a coach of the coaches. If people want to be a coach, a speaker, a trainer, a mentor out there in the world, and they want to know how to perfect what they do, how to learn what they must, and how to get it done and get it out, I mean, you got to go talk to Christian because Christian's one of my coaches in development, man. This guy's going to be the world heavyweight champion of all things cool and correct in that space, and that's what I do. I build great people into invincible beasts of being the source and the cause in the matter of having the success that they want. So Mike, you feel me, you know me. Isabella, you know what I'm talking about. So that's it, Peter. I hope that helped.
Amazing. I mean, I would like to listen to you all night, but I know it's not possible. So let's get into salt and shakers and tell us more about the mastery, how this thing works, and people to learn more about how you can become the coach of the coaches.
Well, let me start here. For everyone that's here, because everyone gives up time away from their family or loved ones, from their bed sheets, right? Or from things that you got to do, right? Because you got dishes piling up, you got a meal to correct, you got things to get ready for tomorrow. So you came here for a return on your investment of time. So far, so good. So let's get to work. I want you to get a piece of paper and a pen. I want you to write something down for myself because I'm going to share something with you. I see you, Victor. What's up, Krista? So I want you to do this. I want you to write down 2 words, all right? And they're side by side. And I want to put them in circles and don't let the circles touch. So one circle, another circle, yeah? But don't let them touch. They're not going to be interconnected. They're not interlinked. On the left-hand side, you're going to have this word called mediocrity. Mediocrity. Mediocrity, also known as ordinary, also known as average, also known as just enough. Now, by the way, I mean, for Ileana or Troy or Enrique or Lorenzo or Christina, I mean, having enough is okay, right, guys? Thumbs up. It's okay. I mean, who said it's bad to make a paycheck, to make ends meet, to have a little bit left over at the end of the week or a pay cycle, to go on a vacation once in a while, to have some nice things from once in a while. There's nothing wrong if you're happy, but there's a difference between happy and fulfilled. And because there's a gap all the time in having enough, right, Noel? Because there's a gap between what you know you need, but you know you deserve more, because you know in your mind, in your heart, in the soul of souls, you know that you're richer than that. You're richer than that. You're gripped. So we're wired to do just enough. Now, the reason why we're able to do just enough, I mean, all of you are getting by, right? All of you are getting by. You guys, if left to your own devices, the probable, almost certain future, like it's probable and almost certain that you'll do okay. You'll be okay. I mean, you're going to be okay. You'll have enough because your brain has perfected the act over 3 million years to do one thing impeccably. You know what it is? To survive. And that's why we do enough, right? Otto, right, Felipe? We do enough because we're wired to do enough. We're built to do enough. We're built to survive, get by, and make do. We are. We are. And here's the problem, though. If you want more, if you want to get it because you want to win it, or if you want to, yes, 10x it, or live rich, or whatever the standard is for you, it could be a faith-based standard. It could be a me-based standard. It could be because my mother deserved it. My nonna deserved it. My kids deserve it. My future deserves it. My ancestors deserve it. No matter what, whether it's called 10x rich or whatever, you know you need more. But up here, you're not going to get it because your brain is perfecting only one act. And you know what it is? Stay safe. Stay small. Remain insignificant, and don't you dare step out of the circle. You're built to just get enough. You're built to just survive with enough, and you're built just to get through the day to award yourself the privilege of another. That's it. So if you want to get inspired, no. If you want to get motivated, no. If you want to get out of bed and say, today is the day I'm going to change everything, your brain says, stop. Shh, don't talk like that. Don't do that. You're putting us at risk. You pop your head. We're gonna be nailed, man. Come on now, shake out of it. And that's why friends talk you out of it. That's why wives talk you out of it. That's why your husband and boyfriend said, calm down now, darling. Let's live within our means. Let's be reasonable. Let's put this in perspective. And you think it's your friends, and you think it's your neighbor, and you think it's your upbringing, and you think it's your family, you think it's your mother, and you think it's their fault, and you think it's your culture, and you think it's your faith. It's none of that. It's the way humankind has evolved for 7 billion rounds of people in existence. It is in who we are. So how do you jump into the next circle? How do you jump out and respect that you have enough and respect who you are? Here's what it comes down to. You've got to know that you cannot chase results. It's not out there somewhere. You've got to be the source of results. So to transition from mediocrity to mastery is important. Personal mastery, professional mastery, financial mastery. I mean, mastery means by definition to create a competence and confidence that produces more than the usual. More than the usual. So the reality becomes, well, do you want more? Who here by show of hands wouldn't mind having a little bit more? Now, I'm not saying billions. I'm not saying 10x more. I'm not saying all of it. I'm just saying more than enough. More than you've got, more than you deserve. That's all. So what I often would do, Peter and Christian, and I'm so grateful that you guys took the time to market this and corral the troops and connect the dots and keep this community together. Hey guys, put yourselves in the chat room. Let these guys know how much they're loved and appreciated, man, because it takes effort and time and patience. Christian has sent me 132 text messages and emails just to make sure I was here, just to make sure I was on time, just to make sure I brought it. So give them some love, man. They brought it and they deserve it. So thank you, boys. Thanks you guys. I appreciate you guys. Good love. Good love. I see the love. So what do you do? So, because here's what you're thinking. Rich, this is fantastic. I get it. I got enough. And ordinary is okay. And average is not unusual. And having enough is just a means of survival. But I realize now, Rich, that to have more means mastery. To get more takes effort. To get 10x, to be rich in the things that matter, requires something. The question becomes how. So I'm going to give you 30 years of powerful motivation inside the next 15 minutes. Who here wants that? Just give me a thumbs up. I'm not kidding around. I got nothing to sell. I'm here for my boy, Christian and Peter. I'm here because I got some family here too. I'm here just to serve. If you guys want to learn more about what I do and how I do it, you come on out to the Sport of Rich on Wednesdays at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. It's a free call. I don't sell there. You come, you're welcome. Peter's a longtime friend of the family. Christian's a member of my family. So you're more than welcome to find out. So I'm not selling you nothing. I'm here to give you 100% of what every human being deserves. And that's called access. Access to the knowledge, access to the truth, access to get excess. And that's important. So let me give it to you. When you do the math, as my old friend would say to me, math doesn't lie. Grant taught me that. Grant Cardone would say, Rich, you got to stick to the math because the numbers don't lie. And he's right. So here's what you do. Here's how you get your life back. You get to reclaim, restore, and refire your focus. It comes down to money. In fact, it comes down to two more things: money, wealth, and worth. Because those are the things that are worth measuring that actually indicate whether you're on the playing field of performance or just survival. Having enough or getting more. So what motivates you? What would inspire you? So here's the math. We're going to do it all together. Write down right now. So write down right now the following number that represents what you need on a monthly basis just to get by. Just what you need. Now, you all know this number. You have to. I mean, you got rent or a mortgage. You've got payments, alimony. You've got money to pay for leases or a rental car, or you know what you need to get through the month. That number, if it's not in your bank account, if it doesn't clear certain checks, you know you're in trouble. Y'all get that thumbs up? So that number should be really easy for you, by the way. Really easy. So everyone got a number? Thumbs up. I'm looking around. You guys got it? Noel, you're good? All right, bro. So here's what's interesting. Isn't it interesting that that number isn't all that difficult for you to get? And isn't it interesting that I would assert that that number, whatever that number has been over the past 1, 2, 5, 10, 15 years, whatever you've needed, you've likely gotten. Isn't it interesting? I would assert that that number, that figure, that whatever it is you need, you somehow managed to get. More or less. More or less. Live beyond your means, you compromise your life. You borrow more, you leverage more, you spend things on things you don't need and don't require, and all that kind of stuff happens, and it catches up. You recalibrate, you pay off debt, you have consumer debt, or you may have not paid it back and you realize that that's the reason why you haven't called your mother back in a long time, because you still owe her money. Whatever the case might be. But the case is that you know that number. Now, here's what you want to do. Take that number, the need number, whatever you wrote it down. Right? You may have had, I only need $2,000 a month, or $5,000 a month, or $10,000, or it doesn't matter what the number is, but the number has got to be real for you. Please promise me, right hands up, I promise this number is real for me. Let me look around. Okay, cool. This is your night. This is your life. We're going to get it right. Okay, good. Now that number, here's what I want you to do. That's what you need, but I want you to multiply it by 2 because that gets you to what you want. Now you might be saying to me, well, I know what I want. No. We're talking about what's the financial figure from what you need to what you want, because what you need is what you get, but what you want is what you really are after. So you might need a car, but you would like a BMW, or you need some time off, but you would really like a 2-week vacation in an all-inclusive spot. You know, you might need a really nice place to live, but you'd really want a house or a nicer place or a bigger spot. So far, so good. Double thumbs up. You got me? Okay, good. So that number is a 2x number. But if you go back to your need number, the number that you get always right every single month, and now you take it and you multiply it by 5, that gets you to what you desire. That's a 5x number. Now now Krista's like, now you're talking here, Slick. Now I know you're just not a good looking guy in a good looking sweater. You talking my language. I feel you, Krista. Those are my words I'm putting into your mouth, but I'm just saying it straight. You know what I'm talking about, guys? So the point I'm trying to make is this, is that if I take what I got and I multiply by 2, that gets me to what I want. But if I take what I got and I multiply by 5, that gets me what I desire. Because I mean, a 2-week vacation, all you can eat, all you can drink, all you can have. I mean, I wouldn't mind going on vacations as often as I wish. I mean, rather than having a car, I wouldn't mind having a couple cars. I mean, rather than having a house, I wouldn't mind having a vacation home too. I mean, there's something about getting what I desire, what I dream about, what I aspire to have. So far, so good. Now, what you did was you took that number that you wrote down originally and you already promised it was the truth. And you said, okay, this is what I got. This is real for me. And If I multiply by 5, that is going to give me the financial figure on a monthly basis that should afford me what I desire. Who's got that number figured out already? If you're mathematically challenged, you can use your phone. There's a calculator built in. All right. Now, check this out because I'm going to blow your mind. We're getting there. We're getting there. What number is that? Come on, Victor. That's right. 10x is interesting because the Rolling Stones once said in a classic song that you don't always get what you want. My mother said, though, you only get what you deserve. But my old mentor once said, you get what you get. And so the reality becomes, what are you getting? What are you getting? So 10x is also the amplifier. It's the financial phenomenon. If you take what you already earn on a monthly basis and multiply by 10x, that's what you deserve. That's big. Because you might be sitting back thinking to myself, hold on a second, I get this now. I desire to have nice things. I close my eyes and I dream sometimes and I go into la la land and I see myself cruising around wearing nice things and driving nice cars or paying off mortgages or just having great time with my kids, being able to walk them to school because I can, not having to rush my ass around town and doing stuff I don't even feel like doing or want to do. Like that's power also. So the point is, though, a 10x number financially, if you take 10x the number you currently make, gives you, and it should give you, everything you deserve. So here's the question. Who here's got the 10x number? Now, here's what's going to happen, right? Everyone go into the chat room. Give me an example of, I want to get a reading of the temperature in the room. Give me your 10x number. Give me some examples of 10x numbers. What did you come up with? Like for some people, like for me, when I first did this exercise, it was like let's say 100 grand a month, right? Oh, there you go. Chris says at 100 grand a month too. 40 grand a month, Victor. You know, Troy's at 40K. Noel, what's up, man? 50K. Mike, my brother, 100K a month. You getting me, right? Vincent, 90K. That makes sense. That's Canadian dollars. All right, got it. 120,000. His wife puts down 180K. Well done, Isabella. Felipe, she's going to buy you out, Vincent. Felipe, 25K. So here's what you got to do. All right, here it comes. This is going to be where I'm going to connect the dots because we've been talking about enough. I'm talking about mediocrity, escaping mediocrity and going to mastery. I'm talking about what's it going to take for you to start your conversation in mastery. I'm trying to get you catalyzed. I'm getting you present to the financial truth of where you are, which should activate you. And here's what we're going to do. And before I do, I want to say it this way. Oprah Winfrey, when she first embarked on losing weight at the way in which she did, it came down to one moment. And she confessed that she was in Las Vegas at a time sitting ringside when Mike Tyson walked in to defend his world title. When they called out Mike Tyson, ear-biting machine, no, I'm kidding, he didn't bite an ear yet, but the world heavyweight champion of the world, weighing in at 230, when they read his weight, she was mortified because she thought, I weigh as much as the heavyweight champion of the world. And in that moment, she realized, I got to lose weight. You need that aha moment. That's what you need. So here, I'm going to give it to you right now. But it only depends if you've done the math. If that number is real and we've 2x it, 5x it, I mean, like that, if we've done that work, then it's going to hit you. Here it comes. That number, your 10x number, here's what I want you to do. Write down right now. So write down right now the number of months you've been thinking about breaking out. As you've been following Peter and Christian, and as you're going into these mentor groups, and you're probably checking out Clubhouse, and you're banging in through mentor calls, and you've read books and you've done work. You've been doing this for a while. How long would you guesstimate? Would you guesstimate that you've been thinking about playing big? 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, 12 months? How long? Write that number down. Just write it down for yourself. I'm seeing 12 and 4. What's up, Ileana? I see 6. All right, cool. So here's what you want to do. Take your 10x number, yeah, and subtract what you already get. So if your 10x number is 100 grand and it's 10x $10,000, what's the deficit between the two? That should be what? 90. Because between what I currently make and get without very little effort and what I really deserve, my 10x number is like 100 grand. That difference is 90. And I need you to multiply the difference between the new on against the number of months you've been thinking about it. And when you multiply the number of months you've been thinking about it, like you, Vincent, with 4 months, Isabella's only been 2 months because she's smarter than you. But how long you've been thinking about it and not in powerful action around it, when you multiply the number of months against the deficit, that's the cost of your inaction. That's the cost of you playing small. That's the cost of you remaining still, safe, and insignificant. And here's what ends up happening. In the world of performance psychology, we don't, in fact, amplify our actions. We downsize our desires. We don't lose weight, we buy bigger pants. We don't go for nice things, we make nice things wrong. You don't get out there and get it, you actually make the people wrong for doing it, and you stop talking about it. And so we retreat and we retract. We retreat and we retract and we contract. And if you're not stretching, you're dying. If you're not stretching, you're dying. So the reality here is that if you got present just now to that number, that's the cost of you staying still. Now you might be saying, well, Rich, hold on, I got it. Now you've really upset me. You've ruined my night. Now I'm completely clear as to what my financial cost is to playing small. Now what, Slick? Now what? And here it comes. This is where you put together a plan, not a life plan, an action plan over the next 90 days on being able to take small steps to the big vision. Start small, think big. Start now, think long. Just start somewhere, right? So when clients of mine say, well, I want to lose 20 pounds, let's lose 1. Let's just prove to me you can lose 1, and then we'll think about the second one. I want to make $1 million. Let's go make $1. Then we'll make a second $1. Don't worry about the $1 million. You prove to me you can make $1, I'll prove to you you'll make 2. Get the wheels turning. Most people, 92%, according to statistical data and evidence, in the world of self-help, self-leadership, self-improvement, they have the thought of doing it, but never get to it. We get stuck in here. And why? Why? Because that's what we're designed to do. Stay small, shrink up, be safe, never venture out. So to wrap this up, if you're making any notes, I said on the outset of this conversation, then I'll stop talking so I can answer some questions. As I said often, is that there's this conversation around really being able to grow financially. But what does financially really mean? We just talked about one distinction in the world of all things financial, money. But there are 2 others. So that's the other fallacy inside of this world, guys. And I'm giving you my life's worth right now because it took me 30 years to find this out the hard way. Is that I thought to myself when I was young and I was coming fresh out of Wall Street, 300 cold calls a day, every day, banging the phones, raising money, I had it all. I had the right cars, I wore the right things, I looked the right way, I had all the bling, everything. I had everything. I had everything and nothing. I had a relationship with my wife that was shrinking, shriveling, and dying. I did not have a child as yet. We were trying, but didn't have one. I mean, I was internally bankrupt and externally wealthy in the wrong things that didn't matter. So the point I'm trying to make is that when you step back and ask yourself, what am I measuring that's worth having? Money is only one of them. And money, by definition, is the currency in which you have in pocket to pay for the things and afford the things you require and want. Make sense? Cash in pocket. It could be your Interact card, a Visa, credit worthiness, etc. Your ability to afford life. It's currency, right? The second, though, is wealth. Money and wealth. Wealth is the nice things. I mean, the things you can see. I mean, a house, stuff, a nice car, nice stuff. It's about the stuff. It's the things that would signify and exhibit you've got money. But the third, and likely the most important, is worth. W-O-R-T-H. And building worth is about being able to have the freedom of choice and the power to do. anything you want when you want to do it. And that's the real financial upside. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up. So for example, me, after all these years, regardless of what money I've got and what wealth I have, none of it matters more to me than the time I've now got with my family, with my son, and the things that are important to me. Now, it's not to make wrong that having worldly pursuits are not important. Believe me, I would love to buy this and that. But the reality is that because once you get your money right, wealth follows. But when you've got the wealth that matters, the worth becomes you. Focusing on the things that really matter most, growing richer in the things that matter to you. Now, when I have this talk with a 20-year-old, he's like, yo, Rick, man, I got to tell you right now, Slick, I want it all, bro. I want the currency. I want the money. I want the cash. Cool. That's the game you got to play. Because I want you to write this down. Everything's a game. And the way I get money games played is I play it like a sport, because I play it to win it. Because when you play it to win it, you get it. And that's why I called the sport of rich, to grow richer in the things that matter. So 3 things I just shared with you real quick. 1, there's a conversation between mediocrity and mastery. Folks, choose. Circle the one you really want to go. Wherever your commitment is, your body will follow. Trust me. That's number 1. Number 2 is you want to do the critical financial truth. What do you make? What do you want? But what do you deserve? And what you deserve is a 10x number of what you currently make. And once you realize for how long you've been thinking about breaking out and getting it and risking it to get the biscuit, you realize that only you're in the way of actually getting it and winning it. It's been often said that in order to get the cubs, you got to be willing to go into the lion's den. You got to go. You got to get in there. The third, though, is what is in there. What does it mean to get more? And I say more as in more money, more wealth, more worth. And depending on what stage in life you're at, you'll play the games differently. So for me, for example, being in my 40s, money's important. Sure, who wouldn't want more fuel in the tank? Wealth is important, and wealth in my world today looks a lot different than wealth looked in my day 20 years ago. But worth and wealth are different, and I pursue them differently. And that's why I'm here, because I'm getting rich in the things that matter to me right now. Make sense? Peter, Christian, does that make sense for everybody? Thumbs up if that landed square for everybody. Everyone got some value out of that? Okay, fantastic.
100%, sir.
Does anyone have so here's what I'm going to say. Who here has a question that if I answered it, that would unleash you so that you can stop stopping yourself and you can stop playing small about it and you can really feel like you've discovered some access to the next logical step for yourself? I don't mind coaching anybody here. We're having a conversation about it. If you want to put your hand up digitally or just put your hand up for Christian and Peter to notice, I'll take on a couple questions and coach anybody here live and in person. And just so you know, personally coaching any of my people in my world only happens in 2 places. My mastery group, where people in that program pay $25,000 US to be in there, unless you're a professional player of some kind, or my live call that happens on Wednesdays. So me doing it here is a gift to Christian and Peter because they said, this group is family to us. Can you please bring everything you've got? We love these people. So y'all should give them some love because they want to make sure that they're here to help you, they're here to guide you, and they're here like family with you. Make sense? Okay, cool. Anybody need a question answered? Or maybe
Richard,
please.
Can I say something before somebody's going to ask a question? First of all, I just want to thank you again for coming over tonight. I know it's Sunday and it's Super Bowl and you have people around you. So everybody appreciates you, especially me. Like you said, being part of the family, and it's even a bigger privilege. I have one question, which is not related to what you asked for. Can you tell me why did you decided now to just go rich rather than start working with somebody else again after you've been with Tony and Grat and everybody else?
That's a great question. I mean, a lot of people don't know my journey. I've been able to work with, witness firsthand, and recognized from my privileged seat of access what people have gotten right and what people have gotten wrong. And I mean, everyone here is pretty smart. Like Mukhtar, you're a very smart guy. You know, Wendy's a smart girl. Philippe, you're a smart guy. Like, you guys are all smart people. Thumbs up if you get that. All right. So Noel, you're a smart guy. Hold on. There you go. Okay. I got the thumbs up. So, but how could you stomach being in the world of self-help, leadership development, people development, human improvement, and not notice that when things don't work, you feel compelled to fix it, right? It's like being a chef, masterfully trained chef, and you walk into people's kitchen that's cooking for you. You can't help but put your hands into it. You can't help but put your hands into the stuff to help correct whatever's going wrong. So for me, after all these years of working with Tony Robbins and Deepak and Sharma and Grant, and dozens of others, I've been able to publish 14 books. I'm a visiting professor at 3 universities. I've taught across all these platforms. And I stood back and thought, enough. It's time for people to get 100% of what they need. I believe that we're in the throes of a confidence crisis like no other in the world, where people today need to get to the source of their own confidence, their own results, their own performance. And I don't believe it should be a privatized or commercialized commodity. In other words, give the people what they need so they can go and do what they require. Make sense? So I felt compelled to get into this space in a way that was about me, my brand, and just me, because I want you all to write this down no matter what business you're in. Because the minute you sell a service, that's a brand promise. I don't care if you sell beef patties or if you're cleaning homes or if you sell real estate, no matter what you do, it's important. But the minute someone gives you money, you are exchanging with them a brand promise that you're giving me money. I appreciate this vote of confidence, this financial faith, and I ain't going to let you down. The industry needs to do that. Our industry needs to give people what they paid for. And that's why I got back in the business in a big way.
Awesome. Thank you. Richard, we have a few people asking where they can buy the books, your books from.
There's a free book on my website right now. If they go to richarddolan.com, there's a book there that's already available. Thanks, Christian. There's a book available for download for free. There's no cost, called Richology. I go on to a lot of lessons around just what you can do. In fact, that's the perfect thing to read after this conversation tonight, because it actually picks up from where I'm leaving off. So it's the perfect thing to download and understand more of.
Awesome.
So we have Eliana. She wants to ask a question.
Hi, Eliana.
You're on mute.
Hold on, she's on mute.
Eliana, you're on mute.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hi, where are you calling from, Eliana?
America.
Beautiful.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank you, and it's a privilege for me to be coached by you. So my question, I believe, is going to help almost everybody here. But the question is, like, you asked, like, what I can do for you right now to coach you so you take off. I need help with, it might be a limited belief, it might be something else, but like how we, each one of us, everybody has different story and experiences behind, we can stop beating up ourselves so we actually live in peace and gratitude, from where you can give a love and contribute and serve people the best. Because I believe that whenever we beat each other or we beat up ourselves, you block yourself. There's like a little part in yourself you don't like. There's a little part in yourself you just don't want to show up. And like that's actually stopping you or preventing you to actually give 100% of yourself out there, being vulnerable, sharing your story, sharing your experience, just because you always have to hold back something. Maybe it's a little bit, but you should. And it's just stopping you at a certain point. And it's not like all the time you can go and go, but then boom, block. You need to overcome it. And you overcome it instead of conquering, instead of accepting who you are and moving forward.
I think you coach yourself right out of the conversation. I think you figured it all out already. But ultimately, that's what we do as human beings, right? We know what we should do. We know what we can do. We know what we're capable of doing. So we both present the problem and the potential solution, but they're very short-lived. And that's why that no one else on the planet is so masterful at screwing a life up as much as we are capable of screwing our own life up. So here's what I want you to write down, Ileana, and all of you, write this down. And then I'll go to Victor, and then I got to bounce. But Ileana, here's what I want you to write down, and I'll let everyone else write this down, is you got to ask yourself the question every day: what am I committed to? Ileana, are you writing that down? Are you writing it down?
Yeah.
Okay, what am I committed to? So if you're committed to just, and by the way, some people aren't committed to anything. They're just committed to surviving. And guess what you'll do really well every day? Survive. That's all you'll do. So you'll find a new way to deal with the adversity. You'll find a new way to, in fact, deal with the upset. You'll find a new way to repeat a little bit of success, but it's never quite sustainable. It's like this. It's up and down. It ebbs and flows. And so what you've got to ask yourself is, what am I really committed to? And that commitment has got to be greater than just average. It has to be greater than just enough. Because it's only with a greater commitment will be matched with greater action. As Grant would often say, is that the only way to not let negative things stick with you is to do more for you, right? To move faster, to do more. Like for me, out of the pandemic, I mean, I must be working 10 times more than ever before. But that's because I know that I could succumb to the downside to a pandemic. So you've got to find your lane. You've got to find the things you need to do. So you've got to get yourself a life plan. You've got to make sure that you've got yourself a real clear plan and that you've got someone to hold you accountable. That's the key, Eliana, and everybody here is to hold yourself to account for the small actions you've got to take every day. That's the magic. Accountability is huge because none of us do what we say we'll do. Not even for ourselves. You say you're going to work out, but barely do. You say you're going to eat less, and you likely not. You say you're going to be healthier, and we barely are. And whatever you do okay, you don't do well, the extraordinary. So to have an extraordinary life, one of the key things you got to ask yourself every day is, what am I really committed to? Make sense? All right, cool. Thanks, Eliana. Victor from Dallas, Texas.
My brother. Hey, man, thank you for all the information. Christian, Peter, thanks for doing all this. Richard, I'm a real estate investor. I actually just started maybe less than 4 or 5 months ago. I actually got fired from my W-2 job on purpose so I can get a severance package until the end of the year. So it worked out really well. Peter and I actually met at one of the 10X workshops. So from there on, it's been always a constant communication with Peter every day. And with the 10X Nation, you know, it's a different mindset, right? And ever since I found Grant, it kind of tweaked my mindset. And I'm glad I got no longer working for my W-2 job. So right now, being a real estate investor, I'm looking to go back and look for investors for private money, because I don't want to go through banks and everything else. I can probably help out investors better to give them a faster return, making them believe in what I'm doing, and also making them a little bit of money while let me do all the hard work and let them enjoy their day and have a nice return. So actually, I also partner up with another 10Xer who's doing some marketing, and we're going to go back and do a workshop. What's some of the tidbits that you might want to go back and give out a guy like me who's starting out to look for, you know, big money? We're not talking about $10,000 or $20,000. We're talking about $250K minimum up and going. So I can go back and it's not really crowdfunding, but, you know, giving them some guidance to show them where they can go back and put their money in there, and then, you know, kind of ride the wave.
Yeah. Well, you know, first of all, great to meet you, Victor. And of all the asset classes, I can tell you is that I ran North America's largest real estate investment group for 26 years and sold it about just 2 years ago. We ran a $7 billion fund, 35,000 investors. It was called RAIN. It remains in operation to this day by my partner who still runs it, but who's no longer my partner. And one of the first things that we would tell anybody that gets really serious about real estate, whether you're trying to raise 20,000 or 200,000 or 20 million bucks, is number one, is you better establish your real estate investment business. Like number one, set it up as a business. You're going to treat it like a business. It's got to have its own website, its own digital footprint, its own ethos, its own LLC or incorporation if you're up in Canada. And I mean, that's what you've got to have. It's got to be a business. Number two is you got to make sure that you really got the right team that's going to do all the things that are important. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was building my real estate portfolio, I mean, I raised a lot of money for it. I still have about 174 doors, and I mean, it was part of just raising a lot of money. But I had no like in financials, so I had a financial guy, and I had no interest in doing all the legal, so I had a legal partner. So I had a legal partner, a lawyer, and I had a financial guy who was my CFO. So you've got to be really clear as to the elements of keeping yourself honest and delivering value to people without missing anything. The third, though, is you got to really make sure, and this is the key, you got to really make sure who's got the ability to invest with a return on investment and the preservation of the capital. Now, I'm not saying that you don't know, but what I am saying is that in the investment business is that although I've never met a realtor that fixed and flipped properties to sell me one. Like I've gone into a bank and deposited money when they gave me advice on where I should put it. I never said to them, well, show me your performance portfolio. I mean, you don't have to be a pro at something to give advice about something, but you have to, and write this down, everybody, be a living demonstration for what you sell. So there's a connection about being able to say, hey, I, Victor B, when I got fired from my W-2 job and I was able to take some money, I put into this property, I fixed it, I flipped it, I made money. You got to have a track record. You've got to be able to demonstrate you've done it. You've got to be able to have an example of where you put your own money at risk so that you can deserve to attract that money. Because at the end of the day, the 4 dimensions of trust comes down to truth, reliability, competence, and heart. And you might have heart and you might be honest, but people are always going to be wondering, are you reliable? Can I count on you to generate a return on my investment and a return on my principal? And are you competent? Can I hold you to account to being a smart guy in the space? So if you don't have it, team up with someone that can do that. So I would often do that. So when I went after the big money would ask me big questions. Well, where have you placed $20 million? You know what? I've placed smaller money than that with the exact same type of return. But this guy over here who I've partnered with, he's placed $200 million. So quite frankly, you're getting a deal. What's your next question? So exactly. I would partner with guys all the time, and I would borrow that credibility. I would borrow that clout. I would borrow that profile until I started getting that traction. So that would be my advice to you. Where you're going, what markets you're in, how you're performing your market research, how you're performing all your analysis, how you're showcasing the test case. I mean, this is all kinds of stuff that Christian's really good at. I know Peter's very good at. I mean, these guys can probably give you a lot of coaching around that, but that's my advice to you. I hope that helps.
Oh, awesome, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm actually partnering up with a couple of people too on a couple of projects, and you're always looking for that missing puzzle missing piece in your puzzle so you can put them in there and help you move up and scale up at the same time, right? And then once you start building the team, your power team, you get to know, okay, you can do this, you can do that, I can do this. We're missing somebody else. Who can we find? So
there's 3 ways to raise money. You're raising money from people to either raise money with you, raise money for you, or raise money through you. So you're not always stuck to have to put money into real estate in the traditional way. I mean, there's a guy named Matt Soltis on the call. I mean, there's a product that he's got. If you were to raise money for another product, you can get money too. I made my first money in real estate by raising money for another real estate project, making a commission and putting it right back into the project and making even more money. So there's other ways of getting around that. So you've got to come up with an approach that really works for you, but creates scale. Within 3 years, you can build yourself anywhere from $5 to $10 million in net worth. If you're not doing it, then you're doing it wrong.
Right. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome, man. I'm blessed. So listen, hey, Christian, I got to bounce, but I hope that was helpful. Was that value for everybody? Thumbs up? Krista?
Oh, that was great. Thank you again, Richard, for coming, and we really appreciate your time.
Tuja's in the house. What's up, girl? We got to chat soon. Finland's in the house. Okay, so Christian, you tell me what else you need from me, my man. Peter, as always, a real pleasure to be here with you. For each and every one of you here, follow up with Christian, follow up with Peter. Let them know what specific roadblock you have. And my commitment to them is that whatever the roadblock is, I'll give them the solution so you don't have to go searching for it. Because that's my commitment to this group, to Peter, to Christian, and all of you. You guys got that?
Excellent. Thank you.
Sir.
Have a nice evening.
Okay, guys, be safe. Be safe, everyone.
Thank you very much, Richard. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming here. I appreciate everybody for being part of this, and I hope you enjoy this. I know he bounced very fast, light speed. I just want to let everybody know that if you're coming to 10X, we have a house that we're renting out for networking. I just want to leave this short announcement. And if you're interested to network with us and to be part of a Grow Mastermind group and be part and network together and 10X it and do some masterminds inside after each of the day of the 10X GrowCon, please let us know. We are more than happy to share. We rent a mansion. It's like 11 rooms, 24 people can sleep there, and huge, beautiful mansion. So let us know if you're interested about that. Otherwise, thank you very much one more time, and I wish you the best week to coming. And if you have any question, like Richard said, we're gonna make sure we're gonna get back to you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Mr. Christian, do you have anything else to add?
Thank you, Peter, and thank you again, everyone. Mike, Victor, Luca, everyone. Felipe, ¿cómo estás?
Sí, ya, muy bien.
So thank you, everyone. Have a nice evening. I'll see you next week.